fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with silver, and weighing in officially at 126 pounds. He brings a future Hall of Fame professional record to the ring. 52 victories, including 28 knockouts, with only 2 losses and 2 bouts even. Tonight, he challenges the People's Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the fighting pride of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the 5-time world champion, Johnny Tapia. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trimmed with white, and officially weighing 126 pounds. He also has Hall of Fame credentials, 55 victories, including 39 knockouts, with only 3 defeats, and he has captured 3 world title belts. But now, by beating the best of the rest, he is recognized by fans and pundits alike as the undeniable, legitimate, and true featherweight champion of the world from Ciudad de Mexico, presenting the People's Champion, the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Any questions, gentlemen? I gave you good instructions. Obey my commands. Let's touch the left now and go to work. Good luck.
Go.
Referee Nady, who before this has refereed no fewer than 49 world title contests, brings the two of them together. They can hardly look at each other outside the ring. These two are very, very good friends indeed, and they've come together for the very first time in 2 distinguished professional careers. This is over 12 3-minute rounds, which is the world championship distance, but there's no world title at stake, and these two men have thrown aside a number of world titles in order to bring this meeting together. And well, they say it's boxers that make titles, Richie Woodall, and I think these two men have proved just that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think Barrera, everyone recognises Barrera as the best featherweight in the world without a shadow of a doubt. And Tapia, for me, an excellent fighter over the years, and this will be obviously the pinnacle of his career. If he can beat Barrera, this is going to be a terrific contest.
Well, interesting that Barrera has got Tapia on the back of his shorts. His mother's maiden name is Tapia. There's no actually blood relationship between the two of them, and on the back of his shorts, interestingly, Johnny Tapia has got 505, and that is the area code for Albuquerque. And I'm wondering if he gets himself into trouble, will somebody have to phone home? A little bit of an advantage in terms of height and reach, enjoyed by the man they call the baby-faced assassin in the blue trunks trimmed with white, Marco Antonio Barrera. Amazingly began his professional boxing career in November of 1989 as a 15-year-old. That, needless to say, wouldn't happen on the UK side of the pond. Johnny Tapia has recovered from so many personal problems. His father was murdered when his mother was carrying him before even he was born. His mother then lost her life in very difficult circumstances as well, and he's battled away with cocaine addiction. And not that long ago, somebody took a pop at him with a gun from a passing car. So Johnny Tapia has not had his sorrows to seek, but here he is at 35 years old, determined to prove that, having been the best super flyweight in the world and move up through the divisions, he can become the best man at 9 stone. But to do that, he's got to overcome, well, this great Mexican, following in the footsteps of the wonderful Julio Cesar Chavez, and that's Marco Antonio Barrera. This really could be a cracker, Rich.
Oh, definitely. But Barrera here just dictating that jab, and that's what he wants to do. He needs to keep the fight. He needs to keep a little bit of distance between himself and Tapia and just dictate with that jab. There it is again, nice shot. But what Tapia's got to do, he's got to be in quick with the feet, throw the punches in clusters against Barrera. Don't let Barrera set, and don't let him settle into that rhythm of throwing that jab. And that's what Barrera's doing in these early stages. Great variation from Marco Antonio Barrera, who has learned so much since he suffered 2 major setbacks way back in 96 and 97 when he lost twice to Junior Jones, but he's got better with every single contest. And he, of course, for British viewers, is the man who really dismantled the career of Prince Nassim Hamed, who may well come back to the ring once again.
but we've got to wait and see about that. But certainly I think Barrera may well be in his sights, but that would be a tough one even for Prince Naseem at his very best. Good opening round and a lovely little touch of gloves, and back to the corner goes the man from Ciudad in Mexico, born in Mexico City some 28 years ago. Rudy Perez in the corner with him as ever.
When he jabs, okay, he brings that left hand back really low.
Freddie Roach, who's taken over from the long-serving Jesse Reed, who was with Johnny Tapia for some 10 years, and a little bit of Vaseline used around the eye there of Tapia, and I'm wondering, has he got a bit of a nick? Doesn't look too bad so far. That really is the face of a warrior. That face tells 1,000 stories. Once again they touch gloves. They really are very good friends outside the ring, but this is a contest that all of Mexico and all America has been waiting. Barrera, as ever, taking his time. Again, like Tapia, moved up through the ranks, was the Mexican super flyweight champion. He won that title in March of 1992 when he was just 18 years old, but he really has been a fabulous boxer down the years. And Tapia, very, very popular. It's very much a case of the people's champion in Barrera against the people's favourite in Johnny Tapia. Huge sympathy for Tapia, given all his personal problems.
Yeah, good work again there from Barrera. Just as I said, Jim, again, just dictating with that jab. Tapia's got to move in and throw the punches in clusters, and actually he must close that gap between himself and Barrera. He's got to do a little bit more here, Johnny Tapia. Barrera's just settling down into a rhythm, and he won that first round, and again he's in command here. But for me, Tapia just a little bit too slow with the feet, and he's getting punished.
Well, Tapia now is, of course, at 35 years old. He's some 7 years older than Marco Antonio Barrera, and he's had a tough life, but he's come through some terrific obstacles in his career. Lost just twice, drawn twice, lost twice to the very good Paulie Ayala. Drew in his very first professional contest away back in March of 1988, and then once in 95 against Ricardo Vargas.
Barrera again extremely accurate with that jab, just picking Tapia off. Tapia's got to move the head a little bit more also. That's a little bit better from him, working downstairs. Better shots from Tapia. One there just a little bit low, and they've both acknowledged that, but better work from Tapia. Got to keep moving that head though and avoid that jab.
Yeah, good slick refereeing there from Jay Nady, who just said to Tapia, keep it up, Johnny. And he said, okay, fine. These two can really mix it if they have to. Tapia in particular is a real roughhouse boxer, but Barrera, as we've said, has learned from every single contest, and every time he comes into a ring he puts a little bit more into his work. There's greater variation coming all the way through, and it was that variation that really flummoxed Prince Naseem Hamed, whom he defeated in April of 2001. Barrera being nice and purposeful, good footwork by him. That was a wicked looking right hand slung by Tapia. Barrera using the faster hand speed and greater reach to advantage at the end of this round, Rich.
Oh, excellent stuff, and Barrera just taking a little step back and allowing Tapia to fall short, and then he's coming on the inside with some lovely uppercuts and left hooks. Excellent shots, big punches as well from Barrera, powerful punches. Tapia certainly doesn't want to get on the end of those shots.
Got out of the way of a clumsy looking left from Barrera, and again, not for the first time they touch gloves. Well, how long can they keep up this nice person act? Not altogether happy, I think, in the Barrera corner with that particular round. Rudy Perez right in front of him, not a mark on his face, little bit of action from that round. What a terrific left uppercut that was from Barrera, right through the guard, and the sweat really flying off Tapia's face. Barrera anxious to get on with this, up out of his seat long before the bell went to herald this the start of the third round. Remember, it's no world title at stake. Marco Antonio Barrera in blue and Johnny Tapia in black.
Tapia really has got an awesome task tonight, you have to say, mainly because Barrera is such an all-round fighter. He can fight on the inside, he can fight at close quarters, and he can also box beyond that lovely long jab. So Tapia really has got his work cut out. A lot of problems If he leaves that gap too much, he gets picked off with the jab. But when he does come inside, Barrera again matches him on the inside for shots. Look at that left hook there, vicious left hook. Come left uppercut. Great fighter, Barrera. And Tapia at 35, you have to say, is this just a step too far for him?
I watched the elbow from Jay Nady. Now Tapia did bring the head down a little bit low, but Barrera put his elbow right in the very back of the neck of his opponent. Both of them have come here after two very, very tough contests. Barrera in the much heralded rematch with one of the only men to have beaten Eric Morales. That was in this very ring in June. A controversial decision. Everybody thought that Barrera won the first meeting and Morales got it. A lot of people felt that Morales won the second, but Barrera got it. And Tapia comes in after a real war with Manuel Medina in good old Madison Square Gardens away back in April. And one or two people felt that Medina desperately unlucky to lose his IBF featherweight title, which is not on the line tonight because IBF weren't too happy about Tapia coming here to fight Barrera. Oh my goodness, that was a bit low, and Tapia is furious. Tapia is very furious. Oh, that really was low, and he went straight back and tried to do something himself. Well, they'll have to take a bit of time out for this, Rich, but there's no doubt about the fact that that was a very illegal blow from Barrera.
Yeah, that was a low shot, and Tapia obviously was not very pleased at all. And he certainly went for Barrera straight afterwards. But I mean, these guys have got a lot of respect for each other, but there, Tapia certainly was not happy.
They touched gloves again. I tell you, if somebody had done that to you in your career, Rich, the last thing you'd want to do is say, hey, thank you.
Well, the thing is, you know, you can't lose your temper in a fight. I mean, all fighters know that. Once you lose your rag, lose your temper, then your performance starts to go out the window. And Tapia and Barrera, both, you know, true professionals here, and they've touched gloves. And Tapia, he hasn't gone storming forward, so he's recovered, and he's recovered mentally as well from that low shot, which is good for him.
Well, no indication from referee Jay Nady to the three judges at ringside, who incidentally are Chuck Giampa, Bill Graham and Dave Moretti, that he was going to take a point away from Barrera. Good jabbing once again by Barrera, and Tapia's problem is that he's not simply getting close enough to this terrific Mexican boxer.
Yeah, just getting picked off there with a couple of lovely, very accurate jabs again from Barrera. Such a composed fighter, excellent thinking fighter, Barrera. Tapia, he must get close and he must start working. That's a good double jab from Tapia, and that's a good right hand. But what he's got to start doing after that jab, start switching downstairs, and that big left hook. One of his favourite shots is that left hook to the body, Tapia, and that's what he's got to start throwing.
Good finish to the round by Tapia, and that plus Barrera's low blow might just have sneaked that round. Well, there's a very familiar face, the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, one Michael Tyson, in good form it would seem. I think we're going to have another look at that low blow. Well, it wasn't that bad actually, it was maybe just marginal, and perhaps Tapia made a bit of a meal of it, and he certainly went after Barrera with the left hand of his own. There's another angle. It was well, certainly below, but it certainly wasn't right on the cup protector, and I don't think on reflection there was any need for Tapia to do that. So they come scampering out, Tapia in particular anxious to get on with this. Round 4, this scheduled, remember, for 12 rounds at the featherweight, the 126-pound division, 9 stones in old money, as we would call it. And Barrera back into that familiar pattern of his, that lovely left hand, educated left hand into the face of Tapia. Tapia was over in London at the start of this year, boxed in Bethnal Green, and stopped one Eduardo Alvarez in the first round to well, a very delighted Bethnal Green audience who queued up right round the block to get his autograph. Terrifically popular fighter, Johnny Tapia, and as we've said before, everybody I think appreciating the problems he's had with his personal life and overcoming serious drug addiction, to still at 35 be right up there in the top flight in this tough featherweight division. Great division. Morales is still in there, Nazim Hamed, Derek Gaynor, who's the WBA champion.
Again, Barrera commanding with that jab. Tapia's got to start throwing probably right hands over that punch. Try and come back with a right hand counter over Barrera's jab, but just getting picked off. A little bit better from Tapia now. Starting to get closer. That's a little bit better from him.
Great defence by Barrera. He's such an economical boxer, Richie. He doesn't throw any shot that he doesn't have to.
Well, you know, as you've said it before, he learns in every contest. He's such a great thinking fighter, a great all-rounder, and he knows that he's got to keep the gap here against Tapia. If he has to, he will fight on the inside and have a war with any opponent. But, you know, he's very, very intelligent, and he knows that if he keeps it at long range, he's going to be the winner. So that's what he's got to do, just dictate with that jab and keep him on the end of it.
A lot of people would really love to see the third and rubber match with Eric Morales, one apiece. That may well come sometime next year. Certainly a lot of people would pay a lot of money for that. Good right hand that was by Marco Antonio Barrera, and that for the first time really rocked Johnny Tapia back on his heels. That was a terrific right hand. He really let that one go, and Tapia had to take it, and again short and crisp and right on the money, as they say.
Oh, terrific punches from Barrera. Look at that jab, excellent shot. And what we're beginning to see here now is Tapia getting a little bit frustrated and starting to come forward a lot more now. And he's open when he does come forward. His hands aren't particularly high, so look how low his hands are, and he's getting picked off, but he's getting a little bit frustrated. And the more he gets frustrated, the more he's going to walk onto those jabs.
And stuck his chin out there as if to taunt Barrera. I'm not sure that's the wisest thing in the world to do against someone like Barrera, who's stopped 39 of his opponents in 55 victories from 58 professional contests. Oh, Tapia just comes in with a right hand, and Barrera slid beautifully out of the way. A very good round for Barrera, really stamping his authority in front of something 8,500, almost 9,000 people in the Garden Arena in the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. No real signs of wear and tear on the face of Barrera. Different story in the corner of Johnny Tapia.
Now when you slip that jab, he brings it back low, go with the right hand over the top. Okay? You slip that jab, right hand over the top.
Now good advice from the Tapia corner. Coming up to the halfway stage. So the People's Champion Marco Antonio Barrera in the blue trimmed with white, against the man they've dubbed the people's favourite, very much a favourite right through the United States of America, Johnny Tapia, in the black and silver.
Yeah, excellent again from Barrera. Tapia's got to start responding with that. His corner did say slip the jab and get the right hand over the top. That's what he's got to start doing. But also he must be quicker with those feet. His feet are a little bit too slow, and it's allowing Barrera just to step back. And Tapia's falling short, and then Barrera's coming back and countering and punishing him. Got to be quick with the feet.
Tapia just shaking out that left shoulder, coming forward once again. Barrera, hands held very high, looks very lazy, but he can move out of the way very quickly, and it's his sheer hand speed and variation. And there he is trying to draw down the guard of Tapia so he can bring the right across. Tapia's problem is actually finding a way through this defence, which can change almost in an instant.
No, definitely, he just adapts, doesn't he, to every style that's put in front of him, Barrera. And that's the problem that Tapia has got. He's trying different things, but every time he tries something, he gets punished. Very talented fighter, Barrera.
Quiet around this one, both taking a bit of a breather. Good right hand went in there from Marco Antonio Barrera. And again, nice variation from him. He's concentrating on the left, more to the body. Oh, that was not a bad shot at all. And Tapia said, didn't get me, but I think he might have. Watch the shoulder from Nady to Johnny Tapia.
Yeah, Tapia really is as hard as nails, and that's a little bit better. Got through with a couple of shots there, but mainly the single shots from Barrera. They're very accurate punches. And certainly there's more power behind Barrera's shots, but Tapia really is as hard as nails.
Interesting facial expression from Johnny Tapia. Seems to be chomping away as if he's chewing a bit of gum. Tattooed all over his body, and right in the front at the bottom it says Mi Vida Loca, which is his nickname, which means my crazy life, and isn't that true? Again, just a slight movement from Barrera, eases himself out of trouble. And again, he's popping through that guard of Tapia's.
And again, Tapia falling short with the shots there. There's a 1-2 went in there from Tapia. He fell well short, and Barrera just came back with that single jab. Accurate punch. This is good from Barrera. He's settled down now into his rhythm. The pace of the fight is suiting Barrera, and the distance of the fight is for suiting Barrera. Excellent stuff from Barrera.
Well, Tapia is bobbing and weaving, but he's getting caught, and his face is starting to redden up a little bit. That was another very good round from Marco Antonio Barrera.
Make him miss, you gotta make him pay. Okay?
I'm 2 down, Freddie.
Johnny, you make him miss, you gotta come in combinations, okay? You have to win the exchanges for me, okay?
Well, Tapia reckons he might be a couple of rounds down at this stage, and Freddie Roach telling that he's got to make Barrera pay for hitting him, but it's going to be difficult for Tapia. Every round so far they've touched gloves, and I'm sure when this is over, irrespective of how it goes, they'll be great friends once again. But this has been the featherweight contest that all America, and indeed, as we said, all Mexico has been waiting to see ever since Barrera took care of Eric Morales, albeit somewhat controversially, in June of this year in this very ring. And it was Nady who did that world title fight.
Tapia just looking for a way through, just getting picked off there, Jim. His problem is at long range, just getting caught with that jab too often. He knows he's got to get close to Barrera, but as he does so, he gets caught on his way in. He really has got so many problems fighting Barrera tonight.
A good uppercut went in there though by Tapia, and that's the better work from him. And this is where he has to try to do his best work. He's got to swarm all over Barrera. He's got to get inside him, and he's doing just that. Barrera responds with a terrific left into the body underneath the right elbow of Tapia, and this hard man from Albuquerque in New Mexico comes steaming back at the man from Ciudad in Mexico. This is better stuff from Tapia. Now this is the sort of contest that he wants, and Barrera's got to get himself out of there. Once again the right uppercut from Tapia went in, and Barrera really felt that. This is certainly, Richie, Tapia's best round.
This is his best round, and this is where he needs to fight this fight. Get Barrera back on those ropes. Barrera here very limited, and he's willing to trade on the inside, but Tapia is definitely getting the better of it. Once they get back to that centre of that ring, it's Barrera's fight. But Tapia, this is much better from him, getting Barrera on the ropes and working away. Excellent stuff.
Good defence. Well, that was a slip. I think that was a slip. Tapia back up instantly. Nady, one of the best referees in the business. Oh, what a great right hand from Barrera went in there. Just to say to Tapia, well, that little flurry didn't affect me at all. Tapia covering up nicely, taking the shots in the forearm. Well, this has been a to and fro round. If anything, Tapia's perhaps won this one. There was a couple that might have been close, but Barrera has been in charge for most of it so far. But Tapia has come back, and he is starting to mark up a little bit.
Yeah, Tapia, he is marking up, and as I said, he must push Barrera back, getting back on those ropes. He's had his best round here, he's got through, he's been successful with that, especially that right uppercut on the ropes. But when the fight is fought here in the middle of the ring, it's Barrera's fight. But this is a little bit better from Tapia. This has been his best round. He knows he must force the pace, must force the fight, get Barrera on those ropes and work to the body.
Oh, good shot from Barrera. There was a right hand went right through, and again he's just that little bit quicker to the punch, and there's a bit of blood coming now from the nose of Johnny Tapia. Barrera's hand speed conclusive at the end of that round, and Tapia is starting to mark up a little bit. And I think he said, well, come on, or hello Albuquerque there, his hometown. And look at the face of this fella Barrera, completely impassive, showing no signs of emotion whatsoever. And I mean, how reminiscent is he, Richie, of the great Julio Cesar Chavez?
Well, I mean, that's another great fighter, the babyface assassin, as they call him, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Don't lay in front of this guy.
Good, I feel good. No.
Here, take a drink.
Johnny Tapia says he feels good. Good work by him. He really crowded Barrera, and Barrera just standing there and taking it. But that was a solid uppercut. And anybody lesser than Barrera might well have folded under that. And that was the slip. A little bit of an elbow, I think, went in there from Barrera, which annoyed Tapia. Into the second half of this one, scheduled for 12 3-minute rounds, remember, the World Championship distance. Refereed by top man Nady. 3 judges at ringside who will decide. extraordinary that there's no title on the line, but this to decide who is the best featherweight in the world, and currently that's the man in blue, and that's Antonio Barrera.
Tapia again looking for a way in, just studying Antonio Barrera's style and just trying different things to try and get on the inside, but again getting caught. Barrera in command with that jab. His jab tonight, Barrera, has been excellent. The timing, oh look at it, tremendous quality, accurate punching from Barrera with that jab.
More blood now coming from the nose of Johnny Tapia, and he's starting to roughen up and redden up a little bit around the eyes. Barrera has simply picked him off. Tapia trying to wait for Barrera just to stand still long enough to try to crowd him and get inside him, and trying that uppercut, which was pretty successful in the last round.
Again, Tapia not being positive enough, Jim. He's getting caught with the jab and just standing in front of Barrera. If he does stand, he must start moving that head, and that's a nice right hand over the top from Tapia. And we haven't seen many of those punches, but that's the punch he's got to throw. He's got to counter that left jab from Barrera, get across with that right hand. He threw one there, but he hasn't thrown nearly enough of those punches.
Midway through round 7, still being kept at a nice, steady, relentless pace, but it's the relentless work being done by Barrera at the end of that left hand of his is really dictating how this contest is going to go.
We see Barrera in round 6. He decided to stand and allow Tapia just to push him back on the ropes, but again showing intelligence here. Barrera he knows he's got to keep the fight to distance, just keeping it long behind the jab. Easy boxing this is for Barrera. Tapia must up the work rate again, get inside, that's better from Tapia.
Oh, great right hand from Tapia and a left to follow, and Barrera responded with a right of his own, but the initial shot went in from Tapia and that really stung Barrera. That was another good solid punch by the man from Albuquerque, Johnny Tapia. Half a minute to go. Well, Tapia had him on the ropes there, and he stepped away and took the pressure off a little bit, and he's got to crowd Barrera. That's better from Tapia. Fast hands from him, terrific example. Nice little cluster, little 3-punch combination.
Yeah, much better from Tapia. Look at Barrera, look at his guard as well, Jim. Excellent guard Barrera's got. Not many punches do get through to Barrera's chin, because his guard is nice and high.
Now once again the touch of gloves as former world title challenger, originally from New Zealand, one David Tua.
We worked on this. We worked on this in the gym, okay?
That,
right, don't follow him, okay? He moves
swab
one
up the
way,
nose,
right?
I think, hurt
He
Johnny
moves into the
Tapia.
right
Doesn't
hand,
seem to be too bad
Go
in
with the
terms of what
overhand
damage
right
is
and hook
there.
their body. Your favorite shot, right?
Yeah.
Let's dig that shot, son, okay? All right, let's go to work, huh?
We think ready?
Barrera boxing at a distance, and then Tapia suddenly coming in. That was a good right hand round the corner, and Barrera shortened the right and caught Tapia in response. A great little sequence there. Nady splits them up. Look at Barrera's face, says it all. Tapia coming out with a real sense of urgency, and at this stage, Richie, he's probably going to have to win most of the remaining rounds if he's going to take this decision.
Yeah, he's certainly got to up the work rate, and he's got to get closer to Barrera. We've been saying it all the fight, but obviously if his feet are slow and as he's coming in, Barrera's picking him off. So, but when they're standing in the middle of the ring there, standing in the spaces, it's Barrera's fight, and Tapia will know that, and his corner will know that. His corner will be telling him, get this guy back on the ropes and work to the body. Switch the attack from head to body, and especially with that left up. Tapia's favourite punch, that left up to the body. Hasn't thrown many of those shots tonight.
Only man to have beaten Johnny Tapia is Paulie Ayala, and their first contest was Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year for 1999, and the following year, the first meeting between Barrera and Eric Morales was named as Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year for the year 2000. So they've been in a couple of classics, and more than that, and remember, both have fought in no fewer than 19 world title fights, and this is every bit as good as any world title fight that you're going to see. Barrera just missing ever so slightly, the timing just gone off a little bit.
little bit better from Tapia. Coming into Barrera, throwing that right hand. Got to start throwing 2s and 3s though. Single shots for Tapia certainly aren't nowhere near enough. He's got to throw 2s and 3s. Barrera, he's been very accurate with the single shot tonight, especially with that jab. But Tapia must. That was a good
shot by Tapia. That was a very good right hand by Tapia around the corner. And again, Barrera responds, but he took a couple of shots, the right in particular, and a left hook into the body, and he had to come back very quickly. And that certainly is one of his great strengths. He responds absolutely on the button, almost instantaneously. But Tapia has got to him, and at 35, there's still a fair bit of hand speed there. Barrera certainly superior in terms of his footwork and general anticipation, but Tapia still has something there.
Yeah, it was a great right hand and left hook to the body, but the mistake he made afterwards, he just allowed a 10-15 second gap before he threw any more punches. He should have been jumping on Barrera there, following up that attack, but he didn't do it.
Just a few seconds to go to the end of this 8th round, and Tapia is certainly pressing and having one of his better rounds. Barrera, certainly by our judgment here at ringside, is winning this contest, but it's still there for Tapia if he can find something special, and he's certainly trying to find something special. And Tapia, as ever, all aggression and bustle, and Barrera nice and composed and calm and collected. But that wasn't the best round for Marco Antonio Barrera, and I think the corner know it.
Diga combinaciones. No un solo golpe, combínalo.
Four more rounds to go.
Head movement, okay?
Smile, Freddie, come on, big man.
Well, what a character this fellow is. He says, come on, smile, Freddie, it's only boxing. Yeah, wonderful Johnny Tapia. Well, no wonder, well, he's the people's favourite. Barrera may well be the people's champion, but Johnny Tapia, you could not dislike Johnny Tapia. A terrific piece of theatre in that corner. So Tapia now determined once again, and Barrera hoping to get back into that inexorable rhythm which has seen him go through so many contests undefeated. Lazy round the corner right from Barrera, and again a little touch of gloves, and that's it's been done in very good spirit, but it certainly hasn't been anything approaching exhibition boxing, Richie. There's serious intent from both these guys.
Oh, definitely. What a great fight this is, and Tapia, what a tremendous character. He really is enjoying the contest, and for most rounds Barrera has been picking him off left, right and centre, but that's a little bit better from Tapia there. But he really is enjoying it, and what a great character he is.
Interesting, they've been sparring with two men who had met last night in Sacramento. Barrera has been sparring with his fellow Mexican Oscar Larios, and Johnny Tapia had been sparring with Willie Yoren, and amazingly, after a controversial decision in their first meeting which Yoren won, Oscar Larios completely demolished Willie Yoren inside the first round to relieve him of his WBC Super Bantamweight title. So if there's omens in that, well, Barrera was sparring with the victor of that particular contest, and Tapia was sparring with the loser, but I don't think we should read too much into that, although sparring is a decent indication.
And Tapia at 35, you have to say he really is a fantastic boxer over the years he's been, because in this weight division and the lower weights, fighters, you know, they've peaked probably before their age of 30, and this guy at 35, world champion, is still mixing it with the best featherweight in the world in Marco Antonio Barrera. So Tapia has been a tremendous fighter, he really has.
Caught Barrera with a very good right hand, and Barrera has slowed down perhaps just a little bit. He's a little bit more static than he was earlier on. Less than a minute to go. Nice little feint by Tapia, but he didn't bring the right hand across. I thought he was just going to throw that, and then decided to hold back because he reckoned that Barrera might just have anticipated it. Oh, wonderful hand speed from Barrera, very much reminiscent of Oscar De La Hoya, whom we saw not all that long ago.
Yeah, tremendous boxing from Barrera there. Put 3 and 4 punches together, and then straight away just got behind the jab. Didn't get involved, didn't get mixed up in anything. Just got back behind that jab. Very intelligent boxing.
Good work by Tapia, in and out, left and then right. A little 2-punch combination. Oh, great from Barrera. Catches Tapia, a little left as Tapia came in. And Tapia just threatens to lose his cool, and Barrera, as ever, is keeping his. There's Teresa Tapia, Johnny's wife, who also happens to be his manager. She'll be pretty proud of her husband so far. I don't think he's winning this contest.
Put water in my head.
Okay, Johnny.
On my head, Freddie, on my head.
A bit of bruising underneath the left eye of Barrera, but nothing to worry about so far. Neither man has cut, and it's been a high-volume punching contest so far.
Start the round now. Box.
Brief stoppage while Nady insisted that a lot of the water which was on the canvas in the Barrera corner be tidied up. All the way through, Barrera has just had that little bit too much in terms of skill and accuracy and speed, and the right hand there was the first scoring punch of this round without a doubt.
And look at that combination there from Barrera. 1-2, left hook, 1-2, and then a left hook combination as he's moving backwards. Much better quality punching from Barrera.
Well, old granite chin himself, Tapia, takes a couple of good shots and stands up and thrusts the chins out and say, you might be able to outbox me, but you're not going to hurt me with those punches. Good work by Barrera. Yeah, he's moving nicely again, Rich, isn't he?
He's getting to his rhythm again. Excellent shots. I was just going to say, Tapia really is as hard as old boots. You could hit him with a sledgehammer. This guy just will not give way. Very extremely tough opponent. That's better from Tapia. Just that little slip there. Shame he just didn't throw that left hook just to counter, but he must start slipping. Although it's round 10, he must start slipping that jab. But that was an indication. That was much better from him, how he slipped that jab.
Tapia grins after he's caught and comes back with a little flurry of his own. This, I have a feeling, is going to go right to the wire, as was anticipated. Barrera very much the favourite for this, the #1 featherweight in the world, against the man who's probably number 5 or possibly number 6, certainly number 5. In between them, as we may have said, Morales, Nassim Hamed, Derek Gaynor. Good little flurry by Tapia. Oh, a wonderful grin in his face. Got himself caught and he comes bouncing back and he's smiling all the time. Dear me, you'd really want to take him home to your mummy. He really is a delight, Johnny Tapia. He's getting a bit of a lesson on occasions from Marco Antonio Barrera, but he's still there.
Yeah, some good combination work there from Tapia, throwing 3s and 4s, and caught Barrera, especially with that right hand. But now and again, he just drops those hands a little bit too much, and Barrera just sneaking away with that jab. There it is again, just probing with that punch, and it's been very accurate tonight with the jab, Barrera.
Look at Tapia, there's great bounce in those 35-year-old legs. He's really enjoying this. I wonder deep down, does he think that he's actually winning this? I'm sure he must know if he's being honest, and we think he's an honest man that he isn't, but he's having such a great time and giving everybody here in Las Vegas a great evening's boxing. Oh, look at Barrera's hand speed and a way out of trouble. Tapia can't quite get to him. Barrera nearly slipped again. What a great finish to that round, and Tapia holds out the hand of friendship. He's thoroughly enjoying himself. I'll tell you something, he is one of the great characters of modern boxing.
Okay,
loads of water internally. I love you, Albuquerque.
Okay.
He's saying again, where does he get the energy
Keep
from?
moving your head, okay? You move your head. Okay. All right, now here, Johnny, let's go. You've got 2 rounds to go, okay? We need both rounds. I got you. Okay, all right.
Well, I think that's absolutely right from Freddie Roach. He does need both rounds, and wonderful variation by Barrera. Just a little bit too much for the gallant Tapia right at the end of that last round. Barrera keeping his feet. So 6 more minutes of what really should have been for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different versions of the world featherweight title. There'll be no championship belt to be picked up tonight, and no crowns to be added to the crowns that they have between them, these two great boxers. But what a contest they've given everybody.
Yeah, although there's not a belt on the line, everyone knows that this is a real World Championship fight. There's no doubt about that. And Barrera, for me, just boxed the more intelligently with that jab, and certainly boxed superbly tonight. But Tapia, you have to take your hat off to him. Extremely tough, always been in there, and look at him here. Brilliant, great character.
Yeah, they decided just to stop the clowning and get on with it. Tapia, the showman supreme, against Barrera, the supreme professional.
Again, excellent work from Barrera. Look how he commands that jab. Superb, excellent, accurate punches.
Good right from Tapia. There's still a fair old bit of danger there in that right hand of his. Ring announcer Michael Buffett just behind Barrera, having a good look from one of the prime seats, needless to say.
See, Tapia himself is an intelligent fighter. He knows that he just can't go wading in there with his hands low and try and force the pace too much, because Barrera is such an intelligent boxer on his back foot, great counter puncher. So Tapia has literally got to think what he's doing as he's going in also. So that's the problem that he's facing, and he knows that.
Yeah, another right hand from Tapia was right on the mark, but he's maybe landing with one single shot, and Barrera's putting in little clusters, and that's what's winning this contest for him, I do have a feeling.
Well, the accurate shots have certainly come from Barrera, definitely. Tapia's just falling short a little bit tonight. Naturally the smaller man, and his feet have been a little bit too slow, and he's falling short with too many shots, and Barrera certainly punished him and come back with some great counters.
Worth noting that this is not the first member of the Barrera family that Tapia has been in against. He beat Marco Antonio's older brother Jorge way back in March '97, stopped him in 3 rounds in a defense of what was then his WBO super flyweight title. So family honor at stake for Marco Antonio Barrera, and he's certainly, well, set to gain some revenge, we do feel, for that defeat of his brother Jorge. Lovely slicing right hand went in there. Great right by Tapia right at the end of the round. He's still very dangerous. A lot of wear and tear around that already battered face. No sign of cuts. They'll be happy about that. Slight bruising underneath the left eye of Barrera, but other than that, he looks relatively unmarked. Maybe a little cut to the lip.
You hear me? Okay? It's the last round, son. Okay, you got 3 minutes.
Close, Freddie.
You're going to put it on him.
Hold the last one.
Close, too close.
Well, he is amazing. He says to Freddie Roach, "How was the last round?" as if he wasn't there himself. Well, I've seen them touching gloves before, Richie, at this level. I've never seen them hugging before, and that really says one word. I know it's a bit of a cliche. That says respect, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, that was excellent there. These guys have so much respect for each other, and that was great to see, because they're two talented and great performers. We've got here tonight, both fighters, and give each other a little hug there. Tremendous.
I think it may be some way off to suggest that Naseem Hamed might get a rematch with Marco Antonio Barrera, but how would you fancy if Naseem Hamed is serious about coming back, him against Johnny Tapia?
Well, that would be a great contest. I think if Naz is ever going to fight Barrera again, he's certainly going to have probably 2 or 3 good warm-ups before he gets in with Barrera.
I think there might just have been a bit of a thumb in the eye there. I think it was accidental. Maybe Jay Nady's indicating to Barrera that it might have been an accidental head wound, and Tapia doesn't seem to be cut, but he certainly, I think, may have got something in his eye. It might just have been a thumb. We might get a look at that again. Barrera starting to up the pace just to emphasise his superiority. Tapia really trying to squint, and Barrera now for the first time opening up and really going to town. So the hug at the start of the round meant absolutely nothing, because this is professional boxing at its very highest. Great refereeing all the way through from Jay Nady, but he hasn't had to do very much, because these two fellas have really performed quite splendidly. Tapia comes storming back now. He's going to have to knock Barrera out to win this contest. We have a feeling at ringside. and I don't think he's got the firepower, and I don't think Barrera's going to stand still enough to be caught.
Barrera there, just upping the pace, going through the gears. Excellent, putting 5 and 6 punch combinations together. Great stuff, but Tapia, he's always there. He's always in Barrera's face, forcing the fight. But again, the accuracy, the better quality punching has definitely come from Barrera in this round.
Tapia looking for a big finish, just over a minute to go. Lovely short left from Barrera. Again, that terrific variation. Tapia has really come forward and thrown mainly decent right hands, which occasionally have caught Barrera.
There's not been many occasions when Barrera's actually been coming forward, but in this round he's started to come forward, and Tapia has got through with a couple of shots. But for the majority of this fight, Barrera's fought on the back foot beyond the educated left jab, and that's how he's won this fight. Boxed very intelligently, and Tapia just hasn't been able to get through.
Big support, needless to say, for both fighters. Tapia urging his supporters to give him a little bit more, and I'm sure they will do that in the last 30 seconds, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And Barrera has looked pretty comfortable all the way through. Tapia certainly has had his moments, and he's got a moment here. He comes storming forward yet again, face very badly swollen and grazed underneath both eyes and on the nose. But Barrera looks as if he's going to win this one. Good finish by Barrera. What a sweet left hand. Tapia says, come on, and Barrera says, well, here I am in front of you. And what a finish this is. Tapia throwing everything into this last few seconds. It's not going to be enough. There goes the bell. Tapia says, I told you so. And Barrera is hoisted aloft. Tapia hoisted aloft. What a contest they really have produced. And Barrera looking unruffled and unmarked, taken all the way by a good friend and a very gallant colleague, Johnny Tapia. But I think the evening belongs to Barrera.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand, we go to the Budweiser scorecards. Chuck Giampa scores it 116 to 112. Bill Graham has it 118 to 110. And Dave Moretti scores it 118 to 110. All for the winner by unanimous decision. And still the people's champion, the babyface assassin de Ciudad de Mexico, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Well, reasonably wide margins, all in favour of Marco Antonio Barrera. What a fight he was given by Johnny Tapia, who honestly can have very few complaints.
That left hand was in your face.